Letterman, I was really worried there for a while. Could you hand me my rubber ducky?
People often ask me, Junkman, do you really play with toys? No, I collect them. But other people ask me, Junkman, what's the rarest common Star Wars figure released? And they scratch their head when I tell them who it is. So let's talk about Wallace. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you to talk about Volix. I don't know his name, okay? I always see this talked about, and I always thought his name was Valak. But apparently now, at least my computer tells me I've been saying it wrong, which is nothing new if you watch my channel. But I've never heard it said. It wasn't said in the movies. I never watched the cartoon of droids, so maybe I said it wrong. And according to Wikipedia's Star Wars page, starwars.fandom.com, his last name is On Card. I find that hard to believe. His name's On Card, but listen, I'll let you hear the computer say it so you know I'm saying it like they are, or trying to. Let's turn the volume up.
Wallace on card.
Wallace. Wallace on card. One more time.
Wallace on card.
Wallace. I guess it's Wallace on card. So let's talk about the rarest figure. Why is this figure so rare? Why? Because it was only released in one country, Brazil. Why was it only released in Brazil? You were asking me. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. Well, that's because we really don't have an official statement of why it was released only in Brazil. But the thing is, the Droids cartoon was canceled, and Series 2 of the action figures were canceled. So this figure was close into being developed and released for Series 2. So I guess they gave the molds to Gaslight, the Gaslight toy company in Brazil, and let them produce the figure. That's right, it's not a Kenner figure. It was produced and sold by Gaslight only in Brazil. But Kenner did get close to releasing it. So before we look at the rare Brazil release figure, let's look at the known Kenner version of Vasilic. I'll never be able to pronounce his name. This is the Kenner prototype of the unreleased Valix figure. As you can see, the weapon it was going to be packed with was the standard rifle for the AT-AT driver. And here's a look at the back of the figure. He might be a fat fella, but he's got some really small ankles. Now, the rare figure released in Brazil isn't on a Kenner card. It's on a Gaslight figure. Gaslight. But Kenner was going to release it on the card, and the card would have looked a little different. First off, the cards released in Gaslight are wider than those commonly found on Star Wars figures. But let's look at this carded prototype of the Kenner figure that we didn't get. This is the only known carded example of the Kenner Droids Valix figure. What you're looking at is not the Brazil figure. This is the Kenner prototype. It looks like the figure wasn't packed with the AT-AT driver's gun, but it does have his gold coin. So we've seen the prototype figure. We've seen the prototype figure on a Kenner card. Let's look at the one that did get released on the Gaslight card. And again, these cards are wider than the Kenner Star Wars cards, and it's different than the Droids cards as it shows a different picture. While the Kenner one would have showed a picture of the character up close, these are more of a generic card that shows the characters from the Droids cartoon. But let's take a look at the rarest Star Wars figure to get released. This figure is so rare that a lot of the finished Star Wars collectors didn't know this even existed until the early 90s. Some of the other price guides and books about the vintage Star Wars toys never mentioned him. There were always rumors back in the 90s if they made this figure or not, and where it was sold. But as you can see here, it was released by Gaslight, which sold this figure and others from the Droid line. But this is the only one that was never sold in the US or any other country. This was only available in Brazil. Even that these were officially released in Brazil, there's a very few of them out there. Maybe about a dozen of them in collectors' hands. Now, if you're looking to get one of these in your collection, be careful, especially if you're buying it online. Like anything worth a lot of money, there's a lot of fakes out there. Now, most of them on eBay will tell you that it's a reproduction, but you never know. If you find one that's for sale, you better look into it. Because chances are, if it just comes up on something like eBay, it's going to be a reproduction. I don't want anyone to get ripped off. And there's some really nice ones, even on card on eBay. Again, they're not the real ones, so if you're happy having a forgery in your collection, this might be your way to go. But if you want the official figure released by Gaslight, then you're going to have to wait till one of these collectors gets hard up for cash and puts it up for sale. The last one that I can remember being sold for about $16,000. I don't know about you, but I don't have $16,000 to buy rare droid Star Wars figures. I mean, if I'm going to buy a rare Star Wars figure, it's not going to be from the droids line. Anyway, that's a look at the rarest released Star Wars figure. Again, only released in Brazil, but you can see here, he almost got a Kenner release in the US, and I guess some other countries also. I want to thank you for watching. As always, please thumb up my video. Here is Thumpkin, here is Thumpkin. And share my video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back very soon with a whole brand new video.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.